They said they only had heard back in 5 minutes.
Oh, you need one? Okay, here you go.
I can stand.
Boy. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, I know. Wow, she's quick, isn't she?
Oh, I was protected.
She's not on the floor.
It's not taken care of.
Oh, we talked together for 37 years, so he has to protect her.
Yeah, he's
He said if he doesn't give it to you now, you have to stay tuned. Well, welcome everyone, and we're very, very happy to have all these people in this room tonight. We have invited all 10 of the state, I don't think I'll need it, but we've invited all 10 state and local candidates. We have the name plates here so you know who is invited. And the format is going to be kind of loose. Everybody has the same question. I don't think this is working.
We can hear you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. The question was, what are 3 things that you feel need to be changed, improved, or altered, or whatever, in your state, county, district, etc., whatever area you are lined up to run for, and what would you do to bring those changes about? Changes, improvements, alterations. But before we get to that, I want to just do a little quick housekeeping. We've got coffee, tea, and water available over here by the wall. The bathroom is just around the corner, behind the coffee, tea, and water. On the table over there, you can grab a soda. It's $1 on the honor system, so please drop $1 in the cup. And if anybody really needs to order food, there are a couple menus that we can get for you, and we can get you some food. There are cookies over here in the corner. Everybody's welcome to. And a couple of other things. Every table has one of these. This comes from Morgantown, which is in, it's in a different district, but a lot of the representatives would be the same for us. And what's most important in here is the description of the Supreme Court justices, starting on page 12. So if you haven't looked them up, you don't know anything about them, please read about them before you go to the ballot box. Are there any other important announcements that need to be stated before we get started? Restrooms around the corner there. And Channel 3 is here filming, so I hope everybody signed their photo release. Just kidding. All right. My name is April Keating, and I am privileged to be here facilitating this evening. And my facilitation will be minimal. So you've got the question. The candidates have all had the question. So they've had several days to think on their answer. Everybody will be given 5 minutes to answer their question. A little bit more if they're in the middle of a thought. We're not going to interrupt anybody. Brooke is our timekeeper, so when Brooke puts her finger up, you know you have 1 minute left.
And candidates, please feel free, if you don't notice my finger, not your partner, I have an idea.
Yeah, okay. Again, we won't keep strictly to it if you're in the middle of a thought. And after this 5-minute answer, the candidates are going to get up, and each one is going to go to a separate table where you get to speak with them individually. And we'll spend about 10 minutes before we switch tables, so everybody gets a chance to talk to everybody. All right? So let's go. Let's start on the left here with Matt Kerner.
I had to write everything down because if I just talk without doing that, I'll keep you here for 2 hours. So I'm trying to limit myself. And I I've always been told that when chiefs of Native American or First Nations communities met, one of the first things they would ask each other is, how are the children? And then they weren't asking specifically, how were your children? They were asking how that community's children were. Because as the well-being of the children goes, so goes the well-being of the society. And I'm running for the House of Delegates because our children run well. An out-of-control addiction crisis has left over 7,000 of our children in foster care, with about 800 of them placed out of state because we don't have enough willing and able families to care for them all. 26% of the children in the Mountain State live in poverty, 30% are food insecure, and West Virginia leads the nation in the per capita number of women and children that we incarcerate. In 2016, we were second in the number of per capita child abuse referrals, and we're a national leader in child sexual assault. Recently, we've seen an extremely disturbing increase in child human trafficking. The three things I see as areas where we can make the changes needed to protect our children and restore our families to well-being are effectively dealing with our current addiction crisis, improving educational outcomes, and improving our economy without violating the property rights of West Virginians or allowing the creation of long-term ecological devastation for short-term profit. I believe that we can do these things for the most part without increasing our financial burden. And in cases where funds are needed, we'll either see it returned in lower societal costs, or we can ask those who benefit the most from West Virginia's resources to pay their fair share. Related to addiction, out of many things that we could do, the simplest and lowest cost is that we already have a prescription drug database in place, but for some reason, okay, we know the reason. It's lack of willingness on the part of our legislature. We don't enter controlled substances into that database when they enter our state. We only enter them when they exit the system, going from the pharmacy to the patient. This has allowed some communities to have as many as 100,000 pain pills per person enter their towns without warning, and we didn't know about it until the bodies started to pile up so high that some funerals have run out of room to keep them all. Fixing that is a no-cost option for the state, but it may create uncomfortable situations for corrupt legislators who are shielding drug traffickers in pinstripe suits from accountability. Related to education, the number one thing that we can do is to attract and retain quality teachers. It's baffling to me that we tell our public employees that the work they do is so valuable to us that we cannot allow them to collectively bargain or go on strike, and then we pay them as if they mean nothing to us. We chip away at their benefits and begrudge them the ability to have quality, affordable health care. If fixing this means